Hi, hello, my name's Than, short for Nathaniel. So today I have a bunch of new stuff for you. I have shades 1 and 3 of the new Glowy Super Skin Foundation from Saie. I have shade Light 20 Cool of the new IT Cosmetics Bye Bye Dark Spots Concealer and Serum. The Fenty Beauty Hella Thic Mascara. And I also have one of the new Gucci eyeshadow palettes. This is number 1 Summerina Brown. Also maybe playing with this MAC pencil that I picked up. Kind of want to try more waterline sort of brightening pencils, just like the Victoria Beckham one. So yeah, I've been eyeing this one for quite a while actually, so finally picked it up. Okay, let's get into it. So, the Saie foundation. Again, I chose shades 1 and 3. Worn them both a few times now, not necessarily as like wear tests, just to kind of test the shades, kind of get a feel for the formula, but my thoughts are not finalized yet. So the shade range for this foundation is so weird. I really don't understand the shade range. I don't know, like they give you kind of a chart that's supposed to match up your shade in the slip tint and concealer with these new formulas, and I have the lightest shade in both of these, or they might even have one lighter now, but I have shade 1 in the slip tint and shade 1 in the Hydro Beam concealer. And on the chart, it gave me like 4 options that could be my skin tone. So it was just like too broad. I was like, okay, that really doesn't narrow it down. They were doing a thing on Instagram where you could DM them a selfie and they'll match you. So I DM'd them and I was like, I think I might be shades 1 or 3. I'm not really sure. Like, could you help me match? And they were like, yes, we think that you would be shades either 1 or 3. And I'm like, okay, thank you. Like, it just really, I don't know, like that didn't really narrow it down either. I was hoping for maybe like oh, go with this one, you know? I mean, I'm thankful for that they offered that service of matching, but I already knew that I was shades 1 or 3, you know? Anyways, so first I picked up shade 1, and I just felt like it looked so light. So then I thought, all right, I'll get shade 3 too, and I'll return number 1, or I'll return whichever one doesn't work out. But number 3, I feel like, is maybe a little dark for me slightly. So I feel like I might just be a mix of them both. So if I end up really liking this foundation, I'll keep both of them. If not, I'll probably just stick to number 1. This foundation does darken slightly, in my opinion. This is shade number 1, and then next to it is shade number 3. So you can see there's a pretty big jump. I think I'm gonna mix them together. So mixed together, they're like this. And you really don't need a lot of this foundation. I think that's where a lot of the negative reviews are coming in, because it has a really beautiful glowy finish, but it's super, super moisturizing, and it kind of like, I feel like you have to apply it in really thin layers, or else it kind of just like, it'll get caught on itself and it won't build very well, you know what I mean? It's weird. Like it gets streaky, especially with the brush. So I had to get up and stop recording for a second. So I turned my camera off, and then when I got back, I sat back down and continued to go on with the video, and I didn't freaking press record again. So luckily I didn't get too far, but I did just wash this half of my face and reapplied some skincare. Oh my god. Anyways, so I do already have the foundation applied to my forehead. I'm just gonna use a combination of my fingers and a sponge. And this was the first time that I was using a sponge. Now it's gonna be the second time, but I think I like the sponge application the most actually, because it picks up all the excess product. So here is with and without. So you can see it has a really nice glowy finish. And I'll say it's looking even glowier now that I just redid my skincare. Before, it had been a while since my skincare was applied, and it still had a really nice glow. So with this one, I mean, it might even just work as a moisturizer for some people if you're like really oily or more like combination oily. So from those 2 pumps, I know I didn't do my forehead this time, but I still have like a decent amount of product, so it goes a long way. I mean, I did use the sponge too, so it soaked up some of it, but I just feel like it's really important that I emphasize not to use too much of this product. Before I go in with the concealer, I'm gonna use a bit of the Milk Contour Stick. This has really taken over all of my other cream contours. I love it. So this IT concealer, it does come with a little brush on the end, but I can't really see me actually using this brush for anything. This blends great just with fingers or with like, I've definitely been using it with my Sonia G brush. Where is that? The soft concealer. I'll probably use the soft concealer today. Again, I have the shade Light 20. I've worn this probably 3 or 4 times by now to work as well, and I feel like it does really great with creasing, and it works really nicely all over the face as well. I've just kind of used this almost like an all over sort of situation, and I find this concealer to be creamy, but also like not so creamy so that it creases like crazy. Like I feel like it sets down pretty nicely. Has like a slight luminosity to it, but it's not like crazy. And now I'm gonna set a little bit with the Gucci powder. I just rediscovered this powder recently and I've been really liking it. It's just super brightening and smoothing. So let's get into Summerina Brown. So this is a technically face and eye palette, so I'm gonna try using this as a highlighter, and of course this is a blush. Taking the Rephr #1 brush into this lighter brown, and I have not tried the large Gucci eyeshadow palettes, so I'm not exactly sure how this formula is in comparison to that. I saw in some other reviews, some people calling these shades kind of dusty. That's not my experience so far. I feel like they're actually kind of more firmly pressed, at least in this palette. You know, maybe in the other color variations, some of the shades are a bit more dusty, but in this one, they're a really nice density. Easy to blend, buildable. Sonia G Lotus Builder into that same brown. Now going into the darker brown. Switching back to the Rephr #1. And while this shade is darker and it's adding a lot of dimension, it's also, it's so blendable. It really is. It's kind of just like blending itself. With my finger, I'm gonna go into the more highlight shade. This one feels pretty creamy. I feel like this shade is kind of like doing what it needs to do, but it's not necessarily like blowing me away. It's not like super shimmery and I don't know, like it just is looking very average. So this blush is kind of like a cream to powder. It's weird. I'm just gonna like warm it up a bit on my finger. Okay, I think that actually went on pretty nicely. It's pretty much the color of my natural red cheeks, I feel. It's kind of like a rusty... The pictures online, I think, do make this blush appear to be more rosy, but it's a nice color. Put on a bit of this pencil. This is the shade Full Sleeve. Gonna kind of get it going on the back of my hand. color's like pretty much identical to the one from Victoria Beckham. I'm gonna compare them in my final thoughts, but so far it looks pretty good. For brows, I'm gonna do a bit of the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brow Gel in Taupe. Alright, on to the Fenty Beauty Hella Thic Mascara. I did wear this once last night. So the wand is like this. It's kind of like a narrow-ish wand. It's not like those more like voluminous bristly bristles, and it's not a silicone wand. It's almost actually like the Definicils, which I just kind of tested in my last video. Yeah, I would say the wands are very similar actually. It's definitely, I feel like it has very nice volume, and I feel like it makes the lashes look a bit like denser and more full. It has like a slight curling effect too. What's interesting is the lashes do feel like slightly soft to the touch. Kind of remind me a bit of how the Lancome Serum mascara feels. That one feels lighter on the lashes though, and it's a little less, you know, it's not as intense as this. But I don't know, it's like, is like a little clumpy. For sure. Like I feel like some of my lashes are kind of sticking together in a weird way, and I don't know, I don't necessarily like the way that it feels on the lashes. I feel like it is definitely opening my eye. It's a bit more thick than I usually go for though. For highlight, I'm actually gonna try using the highlight shade in this palette here. I'm just gonna go in with my Wayne Goss airbrush. For lips, I'm gonna do Je ne sais quoi from Lisa Eldridge, probably with the Posh gloss in ice on top. This shade is so much brighter than I remember. I'm actually gonna go on top with Poolside because it's a bit more brown and I feel like it might tone down the lip a little bit. So I think that's it for the look. There's lots to talk about, so let's zoom in and then we'll go over my final thoughts. Wake up. Let's start with the foundation. So this foundation honestly looks extremely flawless. It's very, very skin-like. It has a beautiful glow. It doesn't feel sticky really on the skin. No, not sticky at all. Although it's not completely like set. It's not, no stick. It looks beautiful on texture, on pores. Definitely giving like glass skin. The finish is definitely reminding me a bit of the Givenchy Skin Caring Glow. That one is one of my holy grails. So, I mean, this might even be more skin-like. I don't know. I do know that this is not going to wear the best throughout the day because I think just the nature of it being a glowier foundation, it's just gonna rub right off. And I was experiencing that when I was first trying it, like with my glasses. It was like super rubbing off. Like if my glasses slid down my face, the whole part that it slid down was just like removed. But I also think I was wearing too much that time. Like really, I can't stress enough how important it is to not use a lot with this foundation because it just gets very streaky. It slips and slides all over the place. Let me show you shades 1 and 3 next to shades 1 in the slip tint and the concealer. So this is shade, okay, that's not gonna work. So this is shade 3 in the foundation, shade 1 in the foundation, shade 1 in the slip tint, and 1 in the concealer. So I would say the slip tint compared to the foundation has a much kind of more like cream gel sort of texture, whereas the foundation is much thinner, more runny and liquidy. And I would say that shade 3 is the closest to shades 1 in the concealer and the tint. However, it is a bit darker and a bit more peachier. So overall, I would definitely recommend giving this foundation a shot. Even though the shade range is tricky, I would say try to check it out in store if you can. And I definitely would not recommend this for oily skin. I just think that your oils are gonna like take out this foundation. If you have drier skin like me or normal combo, I think you can make it work for sure. Yeah, I'll keep wearing it, but I think it could be a contender for being a, you know, one of my favorite foundations. I don't know, could be. So this IT concealer, I'm not crazy about it as a whole. I like their new Nude Glow CC cream, but I'm really liking this. It has some like normal creasing going on, but it's nothing very obvious, and it looks very natural on the skin. It's like just the right amount of coverage. It's not like so much that it's like, whoa, okay. Like you can wear this just under the eyes and blend it out and it's fine. I like how it's worn on the face as well. It's like creamy, not too creamy. I will say one of the vendors at my Ulta was trying this on because I was like, oh, I've been trying this and I really like it. And when she tried it on, she said it felt a little too dry for her, and she has more mature skin. But I don't know, I have very dry skin, so if you're looking for more of a medium coverage concealer, I would recommend this. So for the Hella Thic Mascara, I do like the end result. It is a bit more intense than I usually go for. And I felt like I kind of had to be careful and precise with the application because my lashes were kind of like getting stuck together a bit. I'll say I can't feel it on as much now that it's been sitting on there for a few minutes. So I think that maybe it kind of just takes a little bit to set and dry down, because now it doesn't feel heavy or anything like that. So I have been kind of brushing off some minor flakes, but nothing really super noticeable. So far, it's just okay. I probably wouldn't recommend it over the Lancome Lashy Doll. I do want to swatch this MAC pencil now next to the Victoria Beckham. So hopefully you can see that. But this one on this side is going to be the Victoria Beckham, and then the MAC is on this side. And the MAC, I mean, they're pretty much the same shade. I would just say the MAC is like leaning slightly more peach, whereas Victoria's is a bit more golden. But they're, I mean, virtually the same on the eyes. They're gonna be exactly the same. Victoria's is definitely smudgeable, like it smudges more, whereas the MAC is not going anywhere. You really need, I kind of was doing some smudge tests before, and I show people in store this all the time, is these literally like don't move. Like you need an oil remover pretty much to like get it off. So I do think that the MAC is going to wear better, but I will definitely update you. So, Summerina Brown. I feel like it's really nice. The colors are very blendable. The blush is a lot nicer than I was expecting. I feel like the only thing that could be upgraded or changed would be the highlight shade. Like, it's okay. Like, it's doing, like I said, it's doing what it needs to. And it's pretty, and I think it does look really nice on the face as a highlighter. I wish it was just a bit more intense, or a bit more metallic, a little bit of a different finish, I guess. But yeah, overall I'd say like 7, 8 out of 10, around there. Yeah, I would definitely pick up another one of these in the future. Maybe not of the ones that are out right now, but if they came out with maybe like a blue story or something, I would definitely be interested in that. Okay, I guess that's it. So make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and ring the bell to be notified every single time that I upload a new video. Follow my Instagram, PrettiEarthAnGram, and my TikTok, PrettiEarthAnTalk. Okay, goodbye.